So let's talk about gaining confidence in fishing open water. Fishing open water in a pond just feels kind of weird, right? There's like nothing to look at, there's no cover that you can see. It just feels like a wasted cast every time. But if you can figure out how to approach it, open water fishing can be some of the best fishing you can have. These fish are just way less pressured. I struggled with this for years. I'd be glued to the shoreline in my 12-foot aluminum boat with the open water behind me. And when I'm out fishing now, I see other people doing the exact same thing. They're just packed into the edges, fishing the same cover over and over. Overcoming that hesitation to fish the open water is just understanding that there is still cover out in the open. It just looks different. Yeah, it's all underwater, so that's the confusing part, right? One of the most obvious ones that you can spot out there is the difference between shallow water and deep water. When shallow water meets deep water, you can see a visible color change. Fish around that if you see it, because it's basically an offshore shoreline. So you can kind of do the same thing you're already doing, but now you're in the open water. So this is a perfect stepping stone into more open water fishing, because you're essentially doing the same thing you were doing on the shoreline, but now you just have a little bit less competition. Another way to expand your open water fishing is just by simply exploring your pond. The ponds I fish are considered great ponds. They're pretty big. They average 10 to 12 feet deep, and the dam is about 25 feet. It's big enough to where I probably could not fish the whole thing in one day, the way I fish anyway. So if you do have extra time, just put the trolling motor on and go for a cruise and look for any type of vegetation that's out in the middle. If you find this surrounded by deeper water, then you have an obvious high spot, and these places can be stacked with bass. Now, these aren't the secret gold mines. Weeds on the surface, everybody can see, but the best spots are the hidden humps that you can't see. If you're in 10 to 12 foot of water and you know where a 6-foot hump is with some grass on it, you're in business. You have a couple of ways to find these spots. One is the most obvious way. If you have a fish finder, it'll just show you it clear as day while you're cruising around. Secondly, you can do what I do, because I don't use a fish finder almost 100% of the time. I tie on a crankbait that I know dives about 10 or 12 foot deep, and I just go fan casting while I'm exploring. So it's essentially my depth finder and my fish finder at the same time. If you're fan casting all around and you're chucking and winding, and you never hit the bottom or bring up any weeds, tie a deeper one on, or just keep going around until you hit the bottom. But what you're looking for is like just a couple of cranks in and you're into weeds and you're bringing up the salad. Now you know you've hit a hump, or at least found a flat or something, especially if there's nothing on the surface of the water exposing it. Now, actually fishing these areas, the best part is everything you're using on the shoreline works on these spots too. You don't even have to change a thing. You can fish it pretty much the same. For the obvious spots with the weeds that are hitting the surface, just target the weeds. You can throw a frog into them, you can throw a jig, you can throw a walking bait if there's lanes and sparse weeds, and just get through all of the open parts of it with those. You can throw a swim jig, you can do a chatterbait, spinnerbait, Texas rig, anything. And for the deeper humps, it's all the same stuff, except for I don't have as much luck with top water just because it's a little bit deeper. But when you do find these places, get ready to get bit, because it's just way less pressured on these fish. The most important thing about these spots is once you know where they are and you do go to fish them, just keep your distance, because obviously you don't want to spook the fish out. They don't see a whole lot of baits and they're ready to bite, so before you end up drifting over it, get as many casts in as you can. So if you've been ignoring the open water behind you while you're fishing the bank because it looks and feels empty, just know that it's not. You just haven't explored it enough yet. And if you do find that time to go exploring and find areas like this, you might just find out you've been missing out on a lot of good fishing. I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.